Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are going to talk about depression. I personally, like many others, have suffered from a certain level of depression. The cause of such a thing can be due to many factors. It could be genetics, lifestyle, diet, financial troubles, a shitty job, a shitty environment, simply worrying about your place in life, or a mixture of multiple factors. Depression is a very common disease in the 21st century. It is so rampant in our society that 300 million people worldwide have been diagnosed with it. However, that number is certainly more due to the fact that a lot of people walk around with this condition undiagnosed. Depression is a mood disorder. It affects how you go about your day, how you feel, and how you think. Sleeping patterns may vary with this condition. Some people might experience the inability to sleep or excessively sleeping. People also feel a persistent sadness, anxiety, and an empty feeling. The feeling of hopelessness and pessimism are both very common, as well as guilt and being worthless. The loss of interest in activities that you once loved doing is a common thing with depression. You may experience a decrease or loss of energy. An overwhelming fatigue would wash over your body, which causes you to move slower, as well as talk slower. Your concentration, memory, and decision-making is drastically and negatively affected. Weight gain or weight loss could also occur. Aches and pains, such as headaches, cramps, digestive problems without a coherent physical reason, could also occur. Thoughts of suicide or actual suicide attempts are the most dangerous of all symptoms, for they are very much indicative of how severe an individual's depression is. If you or anyone you know experiences all these symptoms all day for at a minimum of 2 weeks, you, he, she, your mom, or it could be your sister, whoever it may be, could have depression, and it is crucial that you look for help, even if it's a minor one, for it has the potential to grow. Many people walk around with depression for long periods of time, feeling like shit, feeling hopeless in the world, and ultimately suffering in silence, living their lives in consistent misery. No one should live like that. I certainly don't want to. The cure for depression isn't clear-cut. There are pills available for it. Whether or not you trust those pills is up to you. Talking to someone like a therapist is a very common way to help fix the problem, and from what I hear, it is very effective. Now, for those of you that are unable or have no ability to seek help or simply don't want to, I will discuss ways to help you fix the issue, or at the very least, a way to fight the symptoms of depression. But if you have a problem with depression, no matter how small, please find help as soon as possible. It is better to crush the problem now than later, when the thoughts of suicide is looking like a really good option. I myself, as mentioned before, have been suffering from depression to a severe degree. I won't be getting into my experiences too heavily, but the reason I bring it up is because of my depression. I purchased a book on how to help myself cure, or at the minimum help lower the severity of my depression. I do admit, I personally, due to college and other stressors in life, have not been following the recommended daily activities that the book entails to help fight my depression. It is also clear that the book is biased against the use of pills to help fight the condition, so keep that in mind. The title of the book is called The Depression Cure, the 6-step program to beat depression without drugs, which is written by Stephen S. Ilardi. Of course, to add some sort of verification or validity to the author, he has a PhD and has experience with treating his patients with his 6-step program without the use of drugs. As mentioned before, the book has a 6-step process. However, from my perspective, it is more of a 6-item checklist that one should follow every day to help cure your depression. First one on the list is basically talks about the intake of omega-3 fatty acids, or put simply, you should take some fish oil supplements. The book mentions how the brain is composed of mostly fat. About 60% of our brain is made out of fat, or more as the book calls it, fatty acids. There are multiple types of fats that make up our brains. However, there are some types of fats that cannot be created by our bodies. One of them just happens to be omega-3 fatty acids. And of course, by taking your fish oil supplements, one can obtain omega-3s. Other sources come from wild game, nuts, seeds, and leafy vegetables. The book mentions that individuals who live in areas with high intake of omega-3s have lower rates of depression. It also mentions a research done that shows the intake of omega-3s lowered depressive symptoms in patients by 70%. So get yourself some fish oil supplements, or more specifically, omega-3 supplements. The second thing on the checklist is called engaging activity. Engaging activity is the process of engaging in an active mental battle with the negative thoughts in your head. You see, depression is closely linked to a toxic thought process called rumination. What rumination is essentially you thinking negatively all the time. We all have ruminated for short periods of time at a point in our lives, which is, for the most part, harmless. However, the issue is when we ruminate for long periods of time. Engaging activity simply means stopping the negative thoughts. Of course, it is easier said than done, but this step requires engagement. And to be engaged with this activity, you must actively be present for this step. What I recommend you try is to meditate and let go of any negative thoughts. It will take practice, but for sure in time, you will be good at it. Of course, this is my way of stopping or letting go of negative thoughts. Other people suggest taking a walk, listen to music, watch a show, or do something that helps you phase out the negative thoughts. This step is a tricky one, and I feel that it requires the most effort out of all the steps. The third item on the list is called physical exercise. Out of all the steps, this is possibly my favorite. I love working out. The way you just feel walking out of a gym from a good workout is like no other. The endorphins from a good workout will simply elevate your mood so high, almost making you feel like you don't have depression. Of course, it doesn't last for long. It lasts for about a day or 12 hours to be more specific, or to be more accurate. That is why I recommend you work out for at least once a day. If you've never worked out before, start with running. Cardio is possibly the best type of workout you can do to help elevate your mood. If you're new to running, it will be hard, but it is important that you go at your own pace. If you're running and you're struggling, slow it down, then run again when you're ready to go. Because next time you run, you'll be better at it. The same goes for lifting weights. If you can't lift a certain weight, lower that weight. Stay at that lowered weight till you get stronger, then move up. And as mentioned before, the next time you lift, you'll be stronger. Ultimately, if you want a good tool to help you fight your depression, start doing physical activities. It doesn't have to be running or lifting weights. It could be playing basketball or football or soccer, or whatever type of physical activity you want it to be. The fourth step is pretty simple and a short step. Sunlight exposure is key. Just go into the sun and expose yourself to it. The book mentions how people with higher sunlight exposure are more likely to be less depressed. And from my personal experience, going out into the sun simply does make your mood go up. We humans are not meant to be inside and in the dark. We need the sunlight. The fifth step is called social support, and it is all about joining and having social interactions on a daily basis. We humans are a very social species. In our world today, we are, for the most part, sitting in our homes apart from each other. Most of the time, we are alone. To combat depression, it is key to have someone or a group of social peers to talk to. The conversations with these people don't specifically have to be just about your depression. It could just be about anything. Just two or more individuals hanging out, having a good time. So if you ever have or feel depressed, one of the 6 things you should do is find someone to hang out with and talk to. The last step is possibly the most important, and it is called getting your sleep. Sleep has a weird relationship with depression, at least I feel. If you don't sleep, it can cause you to get depression, and if you have depression, you may not be able to sleep. It's a weird one, but if you are lucky, your depression might just be caused by a lack of sleep. By simply sleeping properly, you may just be able to cure yourself of depression, just like that. However, if your depression is caused by other factors, you may not be as lucky, but regardless, having the right amount of sleep will put you on a path of curing your depression. Having sufficient amount of sleep, as you all have experienced, will put anyone in a better mood. Alright guys, this has been my video on depression. I have been feeling kind of gloomy lately because of negative factors in my life, and I wanted to make this video as a way to help me remember the 6 steps that did ultimately help me fight my depression when I was actually doing them. Hopefully, this video helps you mitigate or even cure your depression. Of course, I will leave some sort of disclosure or disclaimer before I go. I am by no means a medical professional. If you have some sort of depression, it is a must that you go see a doctor to help you fix your problem, even if it's a minor one. Like I said before, it's always good to curb the problem now than later, because if you let it sit there for years, you will start to think that suicide is a very good and beautiful option, which it is not. If you have a depression problem, go talk to a doctor. It is important that you do so. Anyway, I hope you all follow or try these 6 steps. Get your omega-3s, get your exercise in, get your sunlight, engage in mentally fighting your negative thoughts by not thinking about them, get your sleep, and as well as joining in on social interactions. If you do all these 6 steps on a daily basis, I, without a doubt, believe that you could be cured of your depression. I will be following these 6 steps on a daily basis from now on. Thank you for watching this video, and peace and love. Love you guys.